table scraps. Apparently, this is pretty good. And I was thinking, when I got offered this, I was trying to do the math quickly, and uh, I think I screwed up the math in my head, but it actually is insane. So silver augment, generally the value of a silver augment is around 10, 12 gold. And this one is after each carousel, you get one item and you get one champion. After 2 carousels, this on average will give you 5 gold plus a full item. Let's say component charm was 8 gold last game or last set. So that's 2 components, that's 16 gold plus 5 gold for the champions that you sell. So that's already, after only 2 carousels, that's above 20 gold of value for a silver augment.
All right, welcome back to another session of Diamond Dad. Here with Axel Kovacs and Junior Mafia, and we're throwing this quick stream together, quick video together because of some news that hit today, where Mortdog has basically said that augments will be removed from the end of the game and therefore removed from essentially the stats table, and that data will no longer be collected. And so the community is reacting, some positive, some negative. We wanted to give you our thoughts on it and kind of go through it together. So over to the boys. Axel Kovacs, why don't you take us through?
Yeah, I have the post pulled up by Mort. Basically, his reasoning, they have tried this in a previous set, removing augments from the stats, and they were happy with how the game was shaping up, how it led games to be more creative, and people trying out different stuff, not just sticking to best augments entirely, right? But at the same time, he is acknowledging that people will be unhappy with this change as well. So they will be removed with the into the Arcane launch, which is next week. The thing is, we already have some data from the augments from PBE, but things will change, right? So I think they will definitely nerf some augments that we see are rising right now in popularity, and players will be blind to the data from that point onwards. So it's definitely interesting. I am personally happy with the change. I feel like I always, especially at augment picking stage, I always kind of ignored the stats a little bit, only relied on it when I really didn't have a preference. But this will encourage people to really think through their spots and what the augments actually do in the specific spot that they are in that game. So I feel like I like it. So I went through the Reddit thread about this as well. I think maybe I'm able to pull it up just to show you guys. So obviously it's the first most upvoted post by Mort as well. And immediately after, there's a challenger player reaction to it, and he's saying it hurts the competitive integrity of TFT. And why he's saying that is because there were buggy augments that we didn't know were buggy unless you were looking at the stats. Like, let's say there was a hero augment last set with Elise or something like that, and in theory it should be working really well, but then you look at the stats and it's like averaging 6.0 win rate, and you know there's something wrong with it. And spotting these issues is top priority when looking at stats, right?
But will they will still like have the stats on the back end, so like the people in charge of nerfing certain things should be able to still flag things like that, right?
Yeah, but the community always have larger power when flagging these stuff.
Right. So
Yeah.
my biggest question is this a nerf to the higher or the lower skill gap players?
Mm, I think it's a nerf to the highest level and also to the lowest level, right?
Right.
I think the casual middle skill players would have more fun just by not
Right.
looking at the augments. That's my opinion, at least.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I mean, I think we kind of had a little bit of a discussion before we jumped on stream, right? But it sort of feels like in order to micro optimize at the highest levels, um, the stats may come into play because the challenger players can utilize them better than your average player, um, and definitely at the lower end where you're just starting out trying to learn the game. This is another thing that you need to essentially take in, right? It's another area of knowledge for you that you need to basically just play a lot of games through experimentation now and experience before you can really truly feel like you know what's going on. And so
Yeah.
I think totally it's like pushing everything to the middle in a little bit of a way. And Toby, I mean, it's like the conversation that you and I had about augments earlier, or when you were over at my house. It's like you've chosen this augment, and you have to remember what you did. You can't just pick based on stats as well. So,
Yep.
you know, if you choose like an item augment, then or an econ augment early, you probably don't need a second econ augment next, unless you really, really need it and you've mismanaged your economy. Like, so there's a little bit of that aspect where I think players now need to become more aware and they need to just play with it. And so on the back of that, I actually feel like the change is also a positive. You know, all the stuff he's saying about the competitive integrity of the game, and the fact that people are not being creative. I don't know if that has as much merit as he thinks that it does. I understand, obviously, being a former rioter, where like how important competitive integrity is and what Riot does to sort of maintain these things and how important it is for them. But I think that people are constantly being creative with the game. I think this is the biggest and best part of TFT, right? Like the theory
Yeah.
crafting stuff that we're going through. I literally just picked like whatever it is, the long cannon and played it on an ergot with a bloodthirster, and you know it didn't really work out, but it was fun. I think people are
Yeah.
like doing that all the time. I think that's the best part of the game, and we're not going to see that go away just because stats have left, as augment stats have left the building, right? And
Yeah.
I also believe the community will probably find a way to start sharing, you know, what they think are some of the best augments, some of the worst augments, and if people notice
Exactly.
things are buggy, right, the community is going to come forward with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
Just
the
because
tier
the
lists
stats are
are
not there, the
gonna
tier
come up.
list will still get created. I think for the noob casual like myself, it always hurt seeing an S tier that didn't really fit in your comp, you know, when you were picking augment. So I think for me, it'll definitely help with the speed of augment pick. Like I've been super quick on PBE. Like, yep, that one fits my team. I'm going to take that. Reroll the other two. Nah, I'm still
Yeah.
taking it. Where before you'd see like an S or an A tier, and the one you think is good for your team is D tier, and you really second guess yourself. And I spent ages on the augment pick. So for me, I think it's good.
It's a good pick. I mean, a good point. You might actually speed up with the process this way,
Yeah.
right? You get less information overload, less
Information.
confusion.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
And I
you'll
also
stop and
think
you'll actually read the augment instead of just looking at the numbers on the bottom, probably.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I was never much of a numbers reader. Just if there was a really high one, I would be like, okay, why is this so good and does it fit
yeah.
my team?
And he said one thing that I actually didn't know about, that on the Vegas Open last year, um, everyone were playing without access to augment stats. It might have been because this was the patch where they removed it. I'm not sure why, but I can imagine that, you know, from a viewer's perspective also, you know, they are forced to come up with these crazy out of the box ideas because they don't have access to the stats, and then probably games just will be more exciting. He mentioning Milala's victory when learning to spell was not a common pick, right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward for Macau because it's gonna be without stats as well. But right now we do have stats, so why don't we just go over currently what's performing really good on PBE?
Yeah. I
It
have
probably
some
will get
PBE
nerfed
questions.
though. I like to order silvers by 2-1, not by general placement, but we can go by general placement. Let's just start with this. Table scraps. Apparently this is pretty good, and I was thinking when I got offered this, I was trying to do the math quickly, and uh, I think I screwed up the math in my head, but it actually is insane. So silver augment, generally the value of a silver augment is around 10, 12 gold. And this one is after each carousel, you get one item and you get one champion, right? A random one usually, or a leftover one that's unneeded. So this, after 2 carousels, this on average will give you 5 gold plus a full item. So that's already, if you value a component, let's say component charm was 8 gold last game or last set. So that's 2 components, that's 16 gold plus 5 gold for the champions that you sell. So that's already, after only 2 carousels, that's above 20 gold of value for a silver augment, which is huge. So that's why the average placement is so high for this right now. And I think this will get nerfed. How will this get nerfed? Probably remove the gain 1 gold. Probably I would go by removing the gain 1 gold first and see how that performs if I were Riot, right? And then in the top there is support mining, which is an interesting new one, which I haven't tried either. It's you gain a training dummy, and when it dies 5 times, you gain a support anvil and remove the training dummy. So actually it's basically latent,
It's
similar
latent
to
forge, right?
latent forge, but not latent forge. What was the one that gives a support one later? Something like delayed something, but it's very similar but just stronger because it gives you uh, an extra unit on your board while you're waiting for the support item to arrive.
Yeah, so it can kind of help you potentially with a win streak. If you play around
Yeah,
it, you let it sort of tank first, and then
exactly.
try to win streak into your support. So that's pretty
So
strong.
it's just a stronger one. We should pick it every time we
I think
see it.
it's very good for the table scraps is insane for win streaking because that's one of my biggest frustrations with win streaking when I'm trying to build best in slot items and just to have an extra component
Oh
of
yeah, for your
carousel.
item economy, especially the
Yeah,
first. The first. That's true. Good point.
yeah.
So that's a win
So
streak augment for sure,
yeah.
making you much stronger with extra components. I think that's it for really outstanding silvers. Band of Thieves was always good take. Crafted crafting. Whenever you craft a completed item, gains 3 rerolls. Okay.
That
Yeah, I thought.
feels pretty good.
Yeah, I thought this would be strong. So if you value a reroll on 2 gold, every time you complete an item, you gain 6 gold. So with 2 completed items, you already gain the value of a silver augment, and this scales infinitely. How many items
So
you
would
put in
that
each
would
cube?
be like obviously you want to take that early or
Yeah, it's only offered at 2-1.
okay.
Only offered at 2-1.
Right.
What is
It's a good pick.
the trait that gives you the items now? Is Conqueror, right?
Conquer, yeah.
Yeah.
Conquer.
So imagine grabbing this and then playing Conqueror.
Oh yeah, yeah, or anything that gives you more items, right? True, true.
Yeah.
Yeah, Conquer
So in
is
terms of
fantastic.
like top tier silver augments, those are interesting. What about one that you think is fun? Something that's just like, you know,
Oh well,
What is fire sale again?
Oh, fire sale is good. Each round, steal a random champion from the shop, gain 1 gold. So I took this before. I thought it was going to help my econ, and it does, because if you level fast with this, on stage 8 you can start gaining up to 4 or 5 gold a round, right? So that is a crazy scaling augment later on
That's good for fast comps, right? When
for
your
fast
shop's full of
comps.
forecasts and
Exactly,
yeah.
you gain more.
Yeah, it looks like you don't get it until 3-2 though.
Yeah, you don't.
One more fun one, and then we'll move to gold, I think.
Oh, this one is super fun. Titanic Titan. Very bad placement. So that's the one I took it once and it fucked me up. So this is the one that increases your oh no, oh yeah, it increases your current health, right? So it's similar to Tiny Titans, but on carousel rounds, you're also released earlier, but are much slower. so you're like, so
So
you're like
it's
moving
only
it.
good if the RNG item you want's right in front of you.
Exactly, but even then you can miss it. So I took it. I was released. My bow was at the other opposite side of the carousel, and then I was like slowly trying to move there, and I picked up the wrong item that I didn't
Oh
want.
man, how slow was it? Was it like half
Really
speed?
slow. I think it's like 30% speed or
Oh
something.
my god!
Wow.
I need to. If you have the recording, I would love to stick it in there. We have to see that in action.
Yeah, well, I will pick it if I see it again, and I will show you. Anyway, let's jump into the gold ones for a little bit of discussion. So these are a bit more obvious because enforcer comps are really good now. So you will see a lot of enforcer emblems and also conquerors here. But brutal revenge. Unfortunately, I didn't have a chance to get this yet. But if you get it at 2-1, this is a hero augment for Rennie. If you get it at 2-1, it averages at 2.69
Wow.
win rate, which is insane.
Yeah, I think when you order the tier list with all included, it's still number 2.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
over every other
yeah.
prismatic augment, right?
So I think it's a mistake. It's probably a mistake, and they will remove this augment from 2-1 because the 3-cost hero augments, and 3-cost hero augments usually show up, or at least the Shen augment last this set only showed up at 3-2, right? So I think when you can plan ahead for this, it's a little bit too strong. Yeah, we'll see how they fix this. I'm sure they will address this insane win rate. Enforcers will probably get nerfed a little bit as well. Rocket collection. So this I actually didn't know it's this strong. I got offered it last game I played. Artillerist rockets deal 40% increased damage. Every 65 rockets your artillerist fire, gain a collector. Gain a Tristan and Orgot. Okay. I actually don't even know what a collector is, so at this point I can't address this this augment, but I'm sure it's something about the damage that is too high. 40% increase is insane for a gold augment. Why not both? Oh, this is the one
The
that
form swapper augment.
the form swapper augment is a little bit similar to Too Tanky from last set, or Twin Terrors, but only for a specific trait.
I just played that Tomb Raider, which
Uh,
looks
Tomb Raider. Oh,
reasonable.
this one.
But the problem is when you're doing a fast 8th like me and no one gets eliminated before you, I got absolutely zero value out of it. So you need to be in a good health
Yeah,
position to take that for sure.
this sounds fun. This
Yeah.
sounds fun. I was thinking about taking this as well. It's only offered on 4-2. which makes sense, right? Because no one's
Yeah.
eliminated before. So you get to choose one of their items. So you get 3 full items.
And
3
it's like
full item
choosing it,
anvils,
right? So
basically.
everyone's always going to have a tank item. You know, if you're running an AD team and they're AP,
Yeah.
you just take a tank item, and if they match up, then you're obviously taking, you know, the equivalent magic.
It says choose one of their completed items to keep. So do
Yeah,
you
so
get a
if
selection of every single one of their items?
I came 8th, so I can't tell you.
Oh, you didn't survive enough. We didn't test
I
this.
didn't even see one person.
Well, we're gonna have to try that again.
Yeah.
Yeah. But a lot of augments below 4 average placement, which really shouldn't be the case. So this is like 10, 15 augments at least that needs balancing. There were these comments on the Reddit thread as well. Like, interesting that they remove it now, right? Removes it now because there might be some balance issues going into the set.
Oh yeah,
And one
people are saying it's an easy way for them to hide like the balance issues, right?
exactly, and one funny thing is that apparently Mortdog made a bet with one of his colleagues before the before set launch, and the bet was I think around $500 that um, he thinks there will not be a need of a B patch on launch. So this also is a weird coincidence that they are removing the stats when Mortdog placed a bet on it.
Speculatively, I guess. Although I don't know. Like, remember, I just noticed the QSS change, right? Like, you guys didn't
Yeah,
see that today, but I did when I was hovering over it, and I was like, "This is different. This is different from the last patch." And I don't know. I haven't done the digging, but I don't know if that was just like
yeah.
changed or if they actually like outlined the change somewhere publicly.
So they release a new patch on PBE almost every day, minor fixing here and there, and I do think QSS was very strong, so I kind of agree with it.
To get us back in, I have a quick question. Is this like, it seems, is this more or less than last patch? But to me, it seems like emblem meta, like massively. All the emblem picks are up there, right? Especially when you look at prismatics, there's a lot of emblem picks that are best.
I think it's always the case for
Right.
an early, a bit
Because I
unbalanced.
never take emblems.
Yeah, like
Right? I'm always worried I'm not going to know
vertical
what to
pumps
do with it.
will always perform well in augment selection
Yeah.
as well.
Okay.
We've seen it in previous set as well, and there was one patch 2 weeks when just taking any emblem augment would increase your placement by at least 1 point. Like portals, there were basically you couldn't really win a game without an emblem. So I think they will balance this out and it will normalize a bit. Let's see the interesting prismatic ones. And this is amazing, and I think we haven't noticed it yet before this cast. Ghost of Friends Past. So this one is an infinitely scaling augment. Whenever an ally champion dies, your team gains 10 health, 1.5 attack damage, and 1.5 ability power.
So it
So
fits
imagine,
every comp, right?
yeah, so every round, let's say 5 unit dies on average, your entire team gains 50 health, an insane amount of attack damage and ability power. So this is way overtuned. This augment. So let's abuse it while we can. And then again, Enforcer Crown, Golden
Crown.
Egg for some reason.
Golden
I don't
Egg,
know why.
is that higher than previous sets
I
right
think
now?
it is higher than previous sets,
Might
yes.
give more than the old one. I haven't.
Why is that? Did they change player damage? I'm not sure if they changed. I haven't read anything about that, but usually that would be an indication why it outperforms, or they changed
What it
the loot
drops.
table. Yeah,
Yeah.
the loot table. Oh, this is interesting. I played this one, and I couldn't really execute it well, but I love this augment. So you remember there was a build on set 11, the ZZ Rot Swarm build, when you take a fine vintage and you try to pick as many ZZ Rots as you can, and you basically just swarm the enemy with these bugs. That was kind of cool, and it's back in a prismatic augment form. So every 9-player combats, you gain one ZZ Rot um,
This is cool.
item.
It's like TFT Zergling Rush, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So I tried to play it in a stall comp. I think I played it with Kog'Maw, and it was not great. But I'm sure there's ways. So you want to pick this when you know you can provide team-wide buffs, because then they will be buffed as well, the bugs. So anything with support items, or when you have augments that already buff the team up, that's really cool.
I think you would
And the
pick it
rest,
with
emissary. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you want to play emissary with this for sure, and other team-wide buffs.
It's interesting because it's a 2-1. So it kind of sets your direction with emissary. I think that's what it would do.
Yeah.
What about the laboratories? Would that help? That's a team wide, is it or not?
No, laboratory, like the experiments.
No, you need
Yeah.
you need experiment units
on the
okay.
experiment.
on the experiments. Yeah.
Right.
Yes, those are all I would highlight. The golden ones especially are outperforming what they should be doing.
Yeah.
So I think they would touch the gold ones a lot, and then these. I don't think they would touch the prismatic emblem augments that much. Probably they will touch the traits themselves. So actually, I didn't know that Black Rose is so strong. I probably should play it a bit more.
I was telling you, man, and I was like, I'm going to play 5 Black Rose. You're like, I played it. It's not strong. I'm like, fine, I won't play it. And then you
it's
just
probably a
lost
reroll
to
comp.
Yeah, I just watched the Morgana sniping your backline from nowhere.
Yeah. I mean, that Morgana is super strong, but anyway, I think that's it for our small update on the augment side.
Wait, last one.
Yeah.
Could you check Hall of Mirrors?
Oh, what the?
Yeah, I'm like, it's last, but
All champions in your front row become clones of the champion in the center of the row. Clones have 100% of their original health and deal 40% less damage.
So this is
Wow.
like you're building a center of the front row giga tank, like a single Garen or something like that.
That has to be a Garen. I was just thinking about that. This has to be a Garen, right?
It's like the Garen tank augment.
Wow.
I think we should start picking more fun augments, right?
I would love to try it, seriously, with like a Garen and a bunch of frontliners, and then like 2 really strong backline damage dealers.
Yeah. This max cap one is an interesting. I just played it. So your max level is set to 7, and then you gain 60 gold, and you just roll.
It gives you tacticians though, right? And so you get 8 units.
So you get 8 units, but your chances are kept at 7. It's pretty cool. Yeah. Anything else? Any questions from?
I just have one more question. Is like, how hard are they going to nerf it to sort of disguise the data? Do you think?
I do think that we will see a nerf to the top augments for sure.
But in your opinion, what is the average place range that these things should sit in then? Like before they're defined as overtuned, is it under 3.4?
So overtuned, I think, is under 4.3 actually. So everything under 4.3 should be overtuned. but there's no perfect balance in these things, and the meta shifts continuously. Definitely under 4.1 is too strong. These augments here are too strong, so they should be balanced, and they know that. So in theory, every augment should revolve around 4.5, but they definitely not. And there should not be an augment below 4 at all. So that is my take. They should always stay in that
Doesn't it have
range.
to be some under 4, like mathematically speaking, or not?
No, they should. In theory, they should all. I mean, it's skewed, right? Because some augments you don't pick unless you have a really good spot for it, and then it will skew the placement a bit because they're not picked
Right.
enough in order to average it out. But this patch is considered pretty balanced. What we have now in ranked, and you can see obviously what the forge is really unbalanced right now. So everything else is Fairy Crown is is 4.19, but everything else above 4.2.
And that's just prismatics, right? What about across the board?
Across the board,
Yeah.
yeah, we have a few here, but not close to what we have on PBE.
Yeah,
Like,
no, and these ones make sense to me, right? Like what the Forge, I guess, when we were watching Worlds, it's like everybody was choosing it, so that makes sense because I felt it was very strong. Eternal Growth, you pretty much don't choose it unless you're already shaping up for a shapeshifter build or you're hard pivoting, and same with Press the Attack for the multi-striker, right? So it's a specific build augment.
Yeah, so this is a balanced patch. You only have like 4 augments here compared to the 30 that we've seen on PBE, right?
Anger management 4.2.
Look at all these augments.
When you do that. Okay.
Yeah.
No wonder they're removing the data.
Well, so needless to say, there's a little bit of augment balancing that's required. And I would probably say as well, we talked about anomalies yesterday. They're probably going to have to internally look at that as well for some of the balancing. But I think that's going to be a tall task because there's not enough data on anomalies in general. So this will be a work in progress.
Yeah, so they decided to not include anomalies, and also portals were not included even before.
That's right.
I think it's because of this reason. If I had multiple occasions when I tried to research portal data on portals because I had the specific portal I wanted to play the best comp, and that takes, in my opinion, it takes the beauty away, the creativity away from the game a little bit. So I do think it's a good change. Curious to see what's coming on the competitive scene, and everyone trying to figure out creative and new ways with augments as well.
Yeah, I guess I think sitting at this side of the table, like we all kind of feel like it's positive for the game. In the big scale of things, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Let's see how the community reacts. Let's see how this PBE shakes up as we continue to speed towards the official live date, which I think is November 20th, right? And let's keep playing and let's try to pick some of these fun augments. Maybe we'll share some videos with our viewers. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. This was another session of Diamond Dads. Like and subscribe if you like the content, and we'll be back. Next video will include some of the comps that we've tried and what we think is performing really strong as we head into the live patch.